Yesterday, Notre Dame fell to Ohio State 17-14. I decided I wanted to wait. I wanted to sleep on this one and really think about what this game means for Notre Dame, what it means for Ohio State. Because as any Notre Dame fan, I was upset. The same thing seemingly every single year. You have a close game, a game that it feels like you're going to win it. Everything's going your way. And then in the last second, it just falls apart. I was frustrated, and I think a lot of Notre Dame fans are frustrated. And removing the lack of execution at the end of that game, the not having enough guys on the field, the not getting a stop on that 3rd and 19, the inability to run the clock out and finish out that game when they could have just kept things simple instead of that weird play call that led to a 5-yard loss when JT Tuimoilau blew up that play. Removing the lack of execution to finish the game, I still feel pretty good about where Notre Dame's at. First, to talk about Ohio State, I believe that Ohio State has proven some things to me. That was a really close, hard-fought battle between two defensively strong teams. I think both of these teams at the end of the season are going to finish in the top 10. One of them will go on to the playoff. It's probably going to be Ohio State. But Ohio State has proven to me that this year they have the physicality defensively to step up to the plate against Michigan. I was very wary of that coming into the year, and I wasn't willing to commit to that possibility that they could man up, battle it out along the line of scrimmage, specifically on the defensive side of the ball, to match up with Michigan's offensive line and run game. But I think so now after seeing the way that they played, especially on that last defensive drive where they completely slowed down that Notre Dame run game and got the ball back. Albeit they gave up 2 long runs, they eventually stepped up when they needed to. I think that they're going to be able to play a physical, dominant game against Michigan. So that to me has been revealed. I really think that Ohio State looked strong in this game. I think that Kyle McCord still needs to prove a little bit more, and go ahead and get upset at that if you want. But when pressure was in his face, and I'm surprised that Notre Dame didn't make more of a concerted effort to pressure him more consistently, because he wasn't getting the ball out. When he had guys bearing down on him, he wasn't getting the ball out. So he needs more exposure to difficult situations like that, and he needs to step up and play better in those spots. To talk about Notre Dame, though, again, I am very optimistic for the final stretch of this season. I think that they will beat Clemson. I think that next week they're going to beat Duke. And I think, and this is where maybe I'll lose some people, that they have the secondary to match up with USC to keep that game close, to keep that in a position where instead of faltering in the final seconds against Ohio State, to maybe pull it out on their end. Maybe some people think that, Caleb Williams is unstoppable. They're just not going to be able to keep up with him. But to see Benjamin Morrison hold down Marvin Harrison Jr., lock him down before the injury, by the way, before anybody runs to the comments to say, he got hurt. He hurt his ankle. He's not going to play as well. He completely locked him down the entire time before that as well. Benjamin Morrison is a really good corner. Him and Cam Hart, the entire secondary, is good enough to completely lock down some of the best receiving groups in the country. That was a question mark coming into this game. There were a lot of people, including one of my co-hosts, Blake, who I do Rufino and Joe show with, came out and said they're not going to slow down Emeka Egbuka or Marvin Harrison Jr., and they were able to do that. The guy who I think hurt them the most was Egbuka in spots, but was Cade Stover. They didn't have an answer for Cade Stover, and Cade Stover made a couple amazing grabs that kept drives going. I just really do feel confident in the defensive execution. I am not overly concerned offensively as some people are, because for what they were matched up with in the team that they were facing off with, 14 points looks bad. They definitely should have finished and scored on more of those drives that they were stopped on 4th down and whatnot. But the production and the big plays that they were able to produce when they needed them, they did show up. They have to finish that game. That final drive, you have to just keep running the ball. Running the ball between the guards was working the entire time on the first 2 plays that Audric Estime picked up those big downs. Why they didn't just continually go back to that does not make any sense to me. Again, as a Notre Dame fan, I am frustrated. I'm sure that other Notre Dame fans are frustrated. But if they use that game as a rallying point instead of a game in which you get down on yourself, you use it as a confidence drainer. Use this as a point to say, look, we showed that we can compete with a top 5 team in the country, a team that is going to play in the college football playoff. There's no reason that we can't show up against USC, Duke, Clemson, and win all of those games, if not 2 out of 3 of them. Comment below. Let me know what you think. And also, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you check out Bet Online for all of your sports betting needs. For anything that I do betting related, I go on over to betonline.ag and I use promo code BELIEVE50. BetOnline has all of the latest updated odds for the NFL and college football seasons. Anything you need, whether it's futures, live in-game betting, no matter what, your football betting needs are met at BetOnline. And again, make sure you use that promo code BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50 to get a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts.